Thanks, everybody. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri. One of the biggest successes on television last year was the ABC medical drama The Good Doctor, starring Freddie Highmore and our next guest, Antonia Thomas. This season, the show is back with some big returns and even bigger exits. Let's take a look.
What's wrong? What did she do? Shaun. You don't want to talk to Leah. I don't understand.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
You're not being fair to her or yourself. She's always been nice to you.
No, she hasn't.
She's your friend. Whatever's happened, you have to talk to her about it, be honest about what you're feeling.
I can't be.
Of course you can.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I can't be honest if I don't know how I feel.
Everybody, please welcome Antonia Thomas. Hey there.
Hi there, how you doing?
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Congrats on the season 2 premiere.
Thank you.
What is that like to come back?
So exciting. So exciting to come back. We just had the best time shooting the first season, and to come back to the same family and to do it all again has just been brilliant. And
You get a sense from the show when you talk to people who are on it, and when you watch it even, I think that it's an ensemble of people who are kind of enjoying the work that they're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're extremely lucky because the material that we have to work with is just so brilliant. David Shaw's a wonderful writer. The story is just, as it keeps unfolding each week, you know, you get a new script and it's just something that's so exciting. You just want to dive into it. And all the people, you know, all the actors, crew, cast, everybody. It's just a wonderful family to be a part of, and just love going to work every day.
But that must be, I mean, I've always thought that that is the coolest thing about doing a TV show that is also kind of a procedural as well, or has a procedural element. With this, you have the different cases that come in, is that you do a movie, you really have like one big emotional moment in a movie. And with a TV show, they kind of have to give you an emotional moment every episode. So you have to go through massive dramatic turns on a one-season basis.
Yes.
What is that like for an actor? Is that just like every episode is kind of a gift that you get to work your chops?
Absolutely, yeah. It's like, you know, yeah, every episode that comes in, there's something new, something dramatic. I mean, maybe not every episode for every actor is it dramatic, because there are, you know, it's an ensemble cast and there are a lot of us. But yeah, you get to really, really kind of like exercise your skills as an actor, and that's the most exciting thing, you know. Just something new every day, whether it's emotional or I don't know, you know, yeah. It's fantastic.
Now, we saw in the premiere this season, Freddie Highmore is the scribe behind it.
He absolutely is.
How did that happen?
Just because he's brilliant? No, how did that happen? Well, I think he has experience in writing anyway. I think he wrote an episode or maybe a couple of episodes of Bates Motel, and was really keen to get stuck into this one. And I think David was like, well, why don't you write the first one? And so get it out of the way so that he could then, you know, focus on
back to the show,
get back to the show and not be worrying about it halfway through the season. But he is actually going to be directing one too. So that's, he's a bit of a genius. He's amazing. I don't know how he has the brain space for all of it. He's great.
Is that one of the things where, as part of the ensemble, you're kind of like, okay, it makes sense that you are the poster of the show, or you are the number one on the call sheet, because this work is all kind of it's gonna be good for you?
Absolutely, yeah. It makes complete sense, yeah.
What was your audition for the show like?
What was the audition like? It was, do you know what? It's funny. The audition came in really last minute. I was in LA. I'd been doing pilot season. I'd had a really long week of auditions that were fine, but that, you know, like, I don't know, it was up and down. And I got to Friday and I sort of said to my friend, right, let's go, let's have a drink. We were both auditioning and we were just having a glass of wine. And then the audition for The Good Doctor came in and they were like, really sorry, it's tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. They can only do it then. So I was like,
done with this drink.
Done with the drink, went home and prepped it as best I could and went in, and everybody was lovely. I wasn't expecting, it was a room of producers as well as the director. It was sort of everyone there, so it was kind of like straight into
It wasn't even like the first. It wasn't like the first audition. It
no,
was like
I was expecting it to be just the casting director. It wasn't. It was everybody. So that was
you had luckily missed the sort of first 3 rounds of callbacks and just jumped the line.
apparently, which was great, but also extremely nerve-wracking when I walked in. Just like, oh God, I only learnt this last night, and but it went well, I guess. I mean,
Now, both you and Freddie are British,
Yes.
playing Americans.
Yeah.
What is that like?
it was nerve-wracking for me at first, actually. I have to
Have you
say.
been doing an American accent at all before that?
No, so this is my first time doing one.
How do you do it? What is the trick of an American accent? I've always heard a loose jaw.
A loose jaw. Yeah, do you know what that is? That is right. A slightly looser jaw. Yeah, because with a British accent, it's much more kind of clipped and tight and yeah. I mean, I don't know. Look, being a Brit, we grow up watching Hollywood films. You know, that's the majority of the stuff that we watch is in an American accent. So I've been used to that sound from, knee high. So you kind of have an idea of how to do it. You know, if you're thinking of being an actor anyway, it's the sort of thing that you sort of have an idea of like how you will do it. But it's one thing like kind of being able to do it and then being able to do it well. So I have an accent coach and
Do you slip in
helps,
and out of it during the day of shooting, or do you try to maintain it all day and then at the end
Freddie's better than me. He maintains it all day. I do slip in and out a little bit. It sort of
I
depends.
would say that you're better then because you're the one with the craft who
No.
can slip in and out.
No, to be honest, it depends on the day, and it depends on like if I'm in every scene all day, I'll just stay in it. And especially with the medical jargon and getting your mouth around those words, it does help to stay in it a little bit more.
Now, with the premiere episode, we saw some returns and some exits. As I said, Leah returned, and your ex has departed.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Really sad. Really sad, I have to say. I mean, like, personally, really sad. Like, I think for Claire, actually, I think it's an interesting one. I think she sort of maybe feels like she made a bit of a mistake. Or maybe it was just being confronted with him leaving. But, I mean, Chucky Modi's a wonderful actor and has become a dear friend of mine, so it's really sad to see him leave. But we're working on our own things together, so we're close. Well, I'll see him again, but yeah, it's sad.
So when you came back for for season 2, did you guys all know that he was going to be departing in that episode, or was that something? Did he know, or did you just get the episode and it was kind of
No, he
revealed
knew.
there?
He knew. I think it was a conversation that was had, and he very much wanted to come back, and they wanted to write him. Especially Freddie, wanted to write him a nice departure, and yeah, I think it was great that he came back and did that.
I guess he would have to know. There's no way that could not be out of a contract for season 2.
Yeah, no, he knew. Yeah.
So do you guys have like a big party for him when he exits, like his last day on set?
We didn't have a big part. I mean, to be honest, because we knew at the end of last year, we kind of like had a big celebration then, but he had to get back home pretty quick, so there wasn't any opportunity. But he's actually back out in Vancouver now shooting a different show, which is amazing. So
See you later, I'm out.
yeah, he was like, bye, and then he's got another job out there, so we'll be hanging out again.
How old were you when you decided you want to be an actor? And what was that decision like?
I guess from an early age, from about 11, I enjoyed school plays and stuff like that. And then performing is slightly in my family. My dad was an opera singer and my elder sister was in musical theatre. So I kind of thought I wanted to sing more initially. And I got involved in a youth theatre group called the National Youth Music Theatre, which is at home. It's sort of a semi-professional thing. And I went on tour to Japan with them with this musical. I was 14 and I loved it and kind of got the bug then. But then got home and had to sort of do school and stuff and slowly kind of liked the idea more of just straight acting. And so then I went straight to drama school after.
Drama school is different in the UK than it is here, isn't it? Isn't it kind of like setting you up for work, and most people who go end up, for the most part, kind of working in theater and TV?
Yeah, it is setting you up for work. I don't know if most people end up, I think it's you know, this industry is so hard. Like, I think a lot of people end up working and some people don't, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. But it equips you with all the things that you'll need, you know, the tools, the stage kind of craft and stuff like that. I had less screen training. There was a little bit, but not that much. So kind of doing my first job was a bit of a baptism of fire, but yeah.
Did you show up and acted like you were in a play and they were like,
yeah,
you need
like
to
really overprojecting.
take it down. Like the camera's literally 6
Yeah,
inches
it's
from
just
your
there,
face.
so smaller. No, I was really paranoid about being too big for the camera and all this stuff. Like I had, you know, I just didn't have any idea of kind of how to do it, but it was fine. I had the first director I worked with was very brilliant, and yeah.
You know, usually when it comes to television shows, when the second season comes, the writers have started writing for the actors. They know them, they know what they're good at, they know what they like to watch them do and what those actors like to do. And in the first episode of this season, Hill Harper tells your character that I believe she needs to be more aggressive, right?
Yeah.
And kind of decisive.
Yeah.
Does that in any way reflect on you? And do you think that's the writer sort of knowing you and
It does actually reflect on me. I think. I mean, I don't know if it's the writers knowing that about myself. It definitely resonates with me, that point. My Britishness kind of really like runs through me in such a strong way, and that I find it hard to say exactly what I want and you know, to put across exactly how I feel and to be strong about it. And I'm learning that from the Americans that I work with. They're like, no, but in a good way, in a way that's like, no, if this is, you know, if this is how you're feeling or this is how you want, you know, you need to be direct about it. Whereas I'm like, you know, someone asks me, and I'm like, yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe I don't know. Yeah, no, whatever you want. You know, I'm very like that. So, yeah, maybe that is. Maybe they did pick that up from me. That's interesting. But it's definitely, yeah.
are we going to see your character trying to be more aggressive and decisive throughout the season?
You absolutely are, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, it's something that the writers are running with, and it's interesting. I think it could potentially get her into a little bit of trouble, because navigating that, you know, that fine line between kind of getting what you want and maybe not overstepping the mark. So yeah, that's definitely something you're going to see more of.
Is it hard getting your mind around the medical jargon when you have to? Like in this episode, we saw a heart transplant that was a kind of piggyback transplant, which is the first I'd ever heard of this. I didn't know what was going on there.
Me too, yeah.
So how much do you feel like when you get that in a script that you have to research, or do you feel like because it's, you know, the story has to move along at its own beat and it's not necessary that you have to improvise or anything, that you can kind of just follow the script?
There is a little, I mean, with each medical thing that comes in, you research it a little bit so that you know what's going on. You understand the kind of basics of it. And then we're really lucky. We have an amazing medical advisor on set with us all the time, Susie, who just, you know, she talks us through step by step so that we really understand, and doing the procedures and, you know, all of that stuff. I mean, she basically helps us look like we know what we're doing, you know, so that we don't make a mess of it. But yeah, I mean, you want to try and understand.
Like in a body, like.
Yeah, like, no, exactly, right. But I think so much about the show is, obviously it's a medical drama, but so much about the show is not the medical stuff. Right. It's
stuff between characters.
The stuff between the characters. So you want to have a good understanding of it, but it's also the other stuff that's going on too that you want to focus on as well.
Let's get some questions from our audience. Who's a question right here? Hi.
Hi. So you play your character so well, and I just wanted to know, like, what's the most difficult part about being like a TV doctor? Is there a difficult part? You know what?
About being a TV doctor?
Yeah.
I mean, looking like looking like you're a convincing doctor is a tricky one, you know, and also really getting into the mindset of a doctor, of a surgeon, was something that I personally did quite a bit of work on, you know, read some books about it, because you kind of don't think about it properly until you have to play somebody like this. All of the stuff that those people have to go through. Then they're actually normal people too, you know, but they're kind of looked at as if they're kind of gods, you know, they can fix things, they can make you better. And the pressure of that on a person is huge. And, you know, you can make, and you do make mistakes. My character in the first episode ended up killing somebody by mistake, you know, and then having to move on and go to work the next day and keep going, even though you're carrying that, and have the confidence in yourself to keep going is a huge thing. So I guess trying to embody all of that is kind of tricky, but a great challenge.
It's an interesting compartmentalization that doctors have to do when it comes to other people's lives, because
Absolutely.
they care, and if you ask them if they care, they'll get very upset. Of course I care, but then when they have to talk about it or anything, it's kind of like a, yeah, of course people die on me sometimes. That's just the thing.
It's almost like blasé or something, and it's not blasé. It's just that must be a protection mechanism.
Absolutely.
If you're, you know, somebody's died on you that day, and you're constantly, you know, you're channeling the grief or something for that, like you would just never go to work. It'd be impossible. Yeah.
So many people get into medicine and becoming a doctor because they love to help people and they love to practice medicine.
Yeah.
And when someone dies on them, it has to be devastating because that is what they've chosen to do with their life. So at the same time, how do you get over that as fast as possible if you keep going?
I know. I read this fascinating book called Do No Harm by this British surgeon called Henry Marsh, and he has a whole chapter in it about essentially the graveyard of people that you carry with you, that you always carry with you, and you don't forget them, the mistakes that you made, and sometimes it's your fault, you know, the mistakes that you made, and yeah, I mean, you just don't think about that stuff at all. It's how you, and you know, and doctors have this whole sort of stereotype that they're really arrogant, and that, you know, but I guess, and maybe some of them are, but also you need that confidence and that slight arrogance to be able to go to work the next day and go, okay, that might have happened, but I'm still good at my job. I can still do this. I'm still qualified to be saving that person. I can, you know, it's extraordinary. I have such
Yeah, a good doctor has done about, 10 years of studying, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, we say 7, but it's probably around 10
It's
at the end
around
of the
10,
day.
yeah.
And a good one keeps going and keeps trying to learn.
Yeah.
If they're arrogant, so be it.
Yeah.
It's like you have a photographic memory, you're saving lives.
Yeah.
If you want to be conceited, I think you've earned it.
I think it's okay. Yeah, and Shaun Murphy is a savant, but I feel like most doctors have to have like a level of kind of savantness to them to be able to know all the stuff that they know. It's encyclopedic kind of knowledge. It's incredible.
I think we have time for one more question.
Hi.
Hello.
I wanted to know, like, on the topic of the first episode when your character accidentally killed someone, you know, she has obviously grown and, you know, came over her mistakes. So I wanted to know, what are you excited most for viewers to see the evolution of your character?
Yeah, I think, as you say, in the first series, Claire went through a lot, and I think I'm excited about the evolution of what we were just talking about, being a little bit more assertive, having to push through. You know, she really has to kind of navigate her way through that, find the confidence, become strong, know how to speak up, know how to be, being able to be a strong woman within the workplace, within a quite male-heavy workplace. We kind of explore all of that sort of stuff. And I think that's going to be really exciting for people to watch. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one more.
So I know the show is very serious, but I was wondering what the tone is like on set, if there's a lot of joking around, just what it's like.
It depends on the scene, but yeah, there is a lot of joking around. When we're doing operation scenes, it's kind of quite high stress because they're quite tricky scenes to film. We're in this small hot room, we're all gowned up and everything. But like often there's a lot of joking around when it comes to like the body. And sometimes it's weird because like, you know, you've got this sort of foam body and you'll kind of be leaning on it and whatever, and then you'll forget they'll swap in the real person and then you'll be like, oh God, I'm sorry. You know, there's a lot of, we have a lot of fun, you know, we have a lot of fun. Everybody in the cast is so wonderful and we joke around, but we also need to get the day done too. So it's a good balance, I'd say.
Antonia, congratulations on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for
It's on
having me.
ABC's on Monday nights at 10 p.m. Everybody, please give Antonia a big round of applause.
Thank you. Thanks very much.